Hi, Yefor. How are you? I hope everyone is doing well. Welcome to your first social studies lesson of this week. I'm sure all of you have done really well in your 3D projects about wonders of the world. But now we are going to move on from that topic. We did a lot of geography in the previous half term, and now we are going to move on to history. We are back to history. So if you enjoyed all the lessons about the Romans, Roman Britain, ancient Egypt, you are really going to enjoy this as well. All right, so let me sit back and let me show you or walk you through the presentation. Here we are. Okay, so we had a lot of lessons about Romans and Romans in Britain, and we are going to be discussing what kind of legacy, what did they left behind? What did they leave behind as a nation in Britain? Okay, they were not occupying Britain forever; they left eventually. Yeah, we are going to be talking about their legacy, and especially when it comes to crime and punishment. So, guys, second, right. So, guys, this lesson's objective is I can find out about what the Romans believed about crime and punishment. Okay. How will you know you have reached the objectives? You will be able to talk about some or mention some key facts about the types of punishments that the Romans would use. And you will be able to also explain some new vocabulary used in this lesson. All right, so let's get on with it. So at the beginning, let's think about the following. Here we're using some meta thinking, metacognition. Um, have I heard about something like this before? If yes, where? And so on. Okay. Also, kind of intellectual confidence, trying to think of questions such as why, and then you kind of explain or express your opinion. So let's start with the first one. What crimes can you think of? Okay, guys. So when we think of crimes, I can think of things like burglary, stealing, killing, um, what else? A crime such as speeding, not wearing a seatbelt in a car, and so on. All right. What sort of punishment might happen to a person who commits a crime? What kind of punishment, guys? Let's think about today, okay? What kind of punishment? Some people go to jail, other people pay money, okay? Or maybe some people here in this country, like if you want to stay here, you need to have visa. So maybe if you commit some kind of crime, they will cancel your visa and you have to go home. Okay, different kinds of punishments. How is it decided whether a person is guilty of the crime or not? Try to think about that. Who decides that? Okay, try to think of movies or real life examples. How are people actually found guilty? Who decides? So if you think about it, in many movies they go to the court, which is a building where they have a hearing, and there is like a couple of people, like a committee, who decide on whether the subject is guilty or not guilty. Okay, why do you think people commit crimes? What do you think, guys? Why do people commit crimes? Maybe they are desperate, maybe they are too poor, or maybe they are just generally bad people and they want to hurt others. Different reasons. And would those reasons have been the same for people hundreds of years ago? What do you think? Would people have the same reasons? I think some people would have the same reasons to commit crimes, but other people have different reasons these days. Okay. Anyway, guys, let's go back in time 2000 years and find out what happened if someone committed crime when the Romans were in charge in Britain. Okay, guys, very important thing at the beginning, there is a number, a timeline, okay, that we will work with. Don't forget BC is before Common Era, before the year zero, whereas AD is the Common Era. It's also not used as AD anymore. We usually write CE, Common Era. But anyway, the AD year comes after zero, okay? So 450 years before year zero, 12 tables written. 43 AD, the Romans invade Britain. And in AD 410, it was the end of Roman rule in Britain. The Romans left. Anyway, what are the 12 tables? Roman laws were called the 12 tables. They were written about 450 BC, before Common Era. These were basic rights for all Roman people and decided what they should and should not do. The laws written in the 12 tables dealt with all manner of crimes, from serious crimes such as murder and less serious crimes such as stealing. The laws also dealt with cleanliness. Homeowners had to clean the street outside their home. Children learned the laws off by heart at school. So all the children who went to school had to know the 12 tables by heart, okay? They had to learn it in school. They had to know its contents. Okay, so people accused of committing a crime were taken to court to be judged guilty or not guilty. So court was a kind of a building where you were taken, you had to tell your side of the story, then the witnesses had to tell their side of the story, and then it was decided in court whether you're guilty or not. There were no police to catch a criminal. People had to catch the criminals themselves. So if you thought that someone stole from you, you had to catch this person and bring them to court. In Britain, the job of finding a criminal was down to the legionaries. Okay, so legionaries had to look for criminals in Britain, not in Rome. In ancient Rome, the people had to bring this person to court. All right. Punishments, guys, were severe. What does that mean? Okay, you can look at the glossary here. Very strict or harsh, okay? So really bad, okay? The main purpose, or their main purpose, was to deter people from committing crimes. What does it mean to deter people from committing crimes? It means to try to stop from happening, okay? So basically the main purpose of these severe punishments for crimes was to stop people from committing crimes, to deter people from committing crimes. The worst possible punishment was kept for anyone who tried to rebel against the emperor. What does it mean to rebel, guys? Again, you have the glossary: to resist or not follow the orders of a person in charge, okay? You rebel against, you don't want to follow someone's rules. So the worst punishment was for rebelling against the emperor, not following the emperor, not listening to him, and not following his rules and laws. Now, guys, listen to this. The punishment you received depended on what money and possessions you had. If you were a slave, you had no rights at all. The punishment for most slaves was death by many different awful means, like really awful slow death, or to be forced to become a gladiator. So the gladiator was a fierce warrior who would fight inside the Colosseum. People would gather in the Colosseum to watch the gladiators fight. However, if you were a noble and had plenty of money, you were often saved from death and told to go into exile instead. What does it mean to go into exile? You have to leave the country. Okay? Now, the thing to think about here is this actually fair? If you're a slave, you're definitely gonna die, but if you're not a slave, you may just go into exile because you have money. That's some food for thought. All right, guys, so here we have some crimes and punishments. So the punishments for small scale theft, okay, like stealing food from a shop, was flogging, beating, repaying cost of stolen goods. Burglary, if you, for example, break into someone's house and steal, that was amputation of limbs, okay? Limbs is basically your arms and your legs, so they would amputate one of your limbs, so they would chop it off, imagine. For murder, arson, and sorry, not sure what happened. For murder, arson, or libel, you had to be executed, okay, in lots of different ways. That means you were killed in public, or you had to go to the exile, you had to leave the country, okay? Guys, what is arson? You can look in the glossary. It's deliberately setting fire to someone's building or property. And libel is to damage someone's reputation with false information. So let's say you sing a song about someone, and in this song, you will say something really awful about this person, okay, which is not true. So you will damage their reputation. So people, instead of people thinking, oh, this person is nice, they will start thinking, oh, this person is really not nice. So they reputation will be damaged. Libel is singing songs about someone and damaging their reputation. So for that, execution and exile. Rebellion, not worshiping the emperor, that's crucifixion, which means they will put you on a massive cross and they will kind of they will stick nails, metal nails in your hands and on your legs, in your feet actually, and they will put you up on this cross and you will just die crucified. Okay, it's a very ugly way to die. And or you will be forced to become a gladiator. All right, here we have a table that shows which crimes were considered minor, which ones were serious crimes. Okay, and once again, singing a song about someone that wasn't true was punishable by death. Okay, execution, libel, as I said. If you set a fire near any houses, you would be you would be bound and set fire to yourself. So they would burn you for that. Okay. So guys, you can open your PowerPoint presentation and just explore these crimes. And now, guys, what is going to be your task? Okay, you just have some questions to answer. Okay. All these questions you will be able to get answers to. It's up to you how you work out how you get answers to these questions. So what ACPs will I use for this? First of all, meta thinking, metacognition, trying to work out how am I going to answer these questions. First of all, you will need to read them, and then you will work out how will you answer them, which is very easy. You just need to go back to the text, yeah? So questions such as, how can I know the answers to these questions? Did I do something like this before, maybe? In comprehension classes, what method will help me complete this task? And guys, you will use some critical thinking as well, such as, can the evidence in this text help me answer these questions? Yes or no? Okay. And then hopefully you will find answers to your questions and you will be successful in this task. So these are the ACPs. Guys, there is an answer key. However, as you know, it's very important that you just answer these questions yourself and then you just check the answer key. You will be checking yourself, okay? This is kind of meta thinking, self-regulation, okay? Checking on your own learning. So guys, only after you have solved them yourself, check against the answer key. We will maybe have a little quiz from this, so you will not learn anything if you just copy the answers. So please just make sure that you complete this on your own and then try to check the answer key. All right, good guys. Once you are done, you don't have to upload anything on Dojo today, okay? What would be advisable to do at the end? Self-regulation again, check in on my own learning. Please reflect on your learning using the traffic color code, traffic lights color code. All right, and that's it from me for today. Hope you enjoyed this lesson and I hope you get the answers right. See you in the second lesson.